guys, unfortunately the old Mack has sprung a leak. I think that's a little bit more than those stop leaks going to take care of. Let's see what we got. All right, before we get too far into this video, let me get you guys caught up a little bit what's going on. It has just been an absolutely crazy roller coaster ride of events over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So today's like the first week of August. The month of June around here was dry, man. We were hammering out work left and right. Perfect time of year to start the big lake job. I don't know, second week of July, popped in there. First week went great, and it has rained and rained and rained. In the beginning, I'm like, all right, we need some rain. We don't need no more rain. We're done with rain. It has rained the whole month of July, and now we are into August, and you guys can't see outside, it's getting ready to rain again. So, with all that being said, fortunately, it allowed me to go up to Thunder Creek and tour their factory, get all that good video. That was a really cool trip. It was pretty cool seeing that place. But long story short, we're still pumping water at the pond. I think the last video I filmed there was like a week and a half ago. We're still pumping water. Nothing exciting there. So we do have a small job we can move into when we can work in bad weather. We can work in the rain. It's stacking a rock wall. So we finally just made the decision today to move equipment out, move to the next job. You guys will see that coming up. In the process of doing that, somewhere along the lines, the steering box on the old Mack decided to spring a pretty healthy leak here, if you guys can't tell, which is not good. So anyways, with the weather, can't do nothing else. So let's pull this thing in the shop and see what's going on. It is leaking on the back side somewhere between the box and the frame, and this shaft does not go all the way through, so I don't think there's a seal back there. I do think there's a cover plate. I don't know if it rusted a hole in it or what's going on. It's definitely not on the pressure side. It's definitely on the return side. It's just a slow, continuous drip, but my fingers are not that small to get down in there. So let's see if we can get that thing peeled off there and investigate and see what we got. Can you tell I'm excited? My motivation level is very high on this project. Aaron's working. Matt went to bid a job. Gunnar decided he wanted to go to Holiday World, which is a local theme park. He's gonna help me. So it's just me, the truck, and you guys. So glad you guys want to hang out with me because nobody else wants to today. All right, I am stalling. Where do we start? I guess we can start. Let's get the steering arm disconnected, and I guess we'll get the drag link disconnected. And then this one's a fairly easy one to get off there. It's only got 3 mounting bolts, and on the R model Max, it's mounted inside the frame. Woohoo! Them are some doozies. These here, not too shabby. All right, let me grab some tools. Let's get started. All right, I gotta take this bolt out here. There's a little groove in that shaft. It keeps that thing from coming off there. See if we can tap that out there with our hammer here. There we go. And then the pry bar should be able to kind of work that up off there, just like so. Now, what I want to do before I get that all the way off there is I want to mark which spline is where somehow, so that we put this back together, hopefully our steering wheel is not off, or it's at least close and not out to no man's land. So let me get some brake clean that up a little bit. We'll probably just draw a line right there, line that up with a spline, and we should be good to go. All right, got that cleaned up, got a little light on the subject. Them splines are pretty fine. They don't have to be perfect. If I can just get it within a spline or two, it'll be close, but nobody wants to drive around with a crooked steering wheel. There we go. That should work pretty good. All right, bust some hoses off. You guys that watch Captain Kleeman's channel know he got this truck hung up in a field about 3 months ago, I guess now, in blue actually blew this hose, but he thought it was this hose. Long story short, both of these hoses got replaced not too awful long ago. I don't think this failure is related to any of those shenanigans. I think it's a totally separate incident. This truck is, oh goodness, 23 years old now and got close to 1 million miles on it, so not unprecedented to have a few issues here and there. But overall, I cannot complain. This has been a really good rig. All right, that's everything top side. Next thing we need to do is get, this is what they call the drag link. This connects the steering box to the spindle back here. This would be considered the pitman arm. We're gonna leave the pitman arm on for now, try to pull this bolt out and just get the drag link shoved out the back, hopefully. And then we'll dismount that thing, spin it around, see what we got going on. All right, hopefully you guys can see down here. It's getting a little cramped with me. They impact the camera and the light, but I'm trying to do the best I can. So this is the bolt I am slightly worried about giving us trouble coming out. It catches all the road grime, and I'm sure it's been a minute since it's been out of there. See if she'll spin. Oh yeah? It's trying. Impact wasn't doing the trick. We're gonna try to result maybe some brute force here before we go into the smoke wrench route. Oh, that's tight. Oh, there it turned. I think something's turning. My ratchet don't really ratchet anymore. Gonna go. Oh yeah. Take two on the impact. Come on, baby. Hey, hey. Now we just got to get the whole bolt to turn so it'll come out. Look at that. I think it's going to do it. We might just be in luck, folks. Nice. Nice. That's a win right there. Could be wrong, but I think his next step's going to be easier from the bottom side. So, you know what? We might get lucky here. I was going to drive this in there, kind of relieve just a little bit of pressure on that, and then this should drive. Oh, look at that. It's like it's a new truck. Oh, yeah. I was worried about that. That worked out absolutely beautifully. All right, the only thing we got left to do is pull out the 3 mounting bolts. We'll yank this thing off here, spin it around, see if we can figure out what the heck is going on with it. Those things got 3 mounting bolts to hold it on. 1, 2, 3. Seems pretty straightforward. Get to them nice and easy out here at the impact. On the back side, maybe I'll show you here in a minute, there's a big motor mount right here, cross member. And it is not too easy to get to the backside of those to hold them. So let's, I guess let's hit these and see what happens. Come on. Well, let me tell you guys, that back one was a real treat to get to. Now, I'm still not 100% convinced how we're going to get her back in there, but we'll figure it out. I think we got her loose. See if we can swing it off there without dropping it. It's a little bit more than I want to manhandle, I'll tell you that much. All right, hold on, I'm going to set you guys down. Whoa, that didn't take much. From what I could see in the truck, it looks like it was leaking behind this plug right here. Guess we can pop that out there and see what's back behind there. But from the looks of the oil trail on here, it looks like it was maybe leaking down this and running down and around. I'm pretty sure I looked at this side here and this was all dry because I checked that hose up there. So I still think whatever, oh, yep, there's oil coming out the top. Oh, yep, that's our problem. All right, before we go too gangbusters tying into that, I say let's give this thing a bath. All right, drug this beast out here on the concrete. We are commandeering Jenna's little pressure washer again. This is that little pressure washer she got from Giraffe Tools. Little electric job, sits on the wall and ain't near as powerful as the other ones, but I hate to admit it, this thing is pretty handy. It does a pretty good job. All right, let me get this thing washed up. We'll drag her back in the shop and see if we can figure out what in the world is going on. All right, we are back in the shop. You guys ready to see what's behind door number 1? We might be chasing a ghost here, but you never know until you find out, right? Well, that is interesting. Whole bunch of nothing. Why are you leaking right there? Got to be a seal down in there somewhere. That's my guess. All right, guys, here's the determination. This thing has got over 1 million miles on it, and it don't owe me an absolute dime. I called a junkyard. I could get one for like $300 or $400 that who knows what the who knows what's going on. I could get a seal kit for a couple $100, and then I got to go through and rebuild it. Hope I do it right. And these things are a little bit finicky. There's a lot of things got to be set to make them just right. Called another place. I can get a brand new one for $700. So I don't intend to sell the truck. Don't intend to get rid of the truck. I feel like this is kind of a pretty important safety item to make sure we got it right. So I'm gonna go ahead and spend the money, get the new one. They need the old one as a core. First thing we need to do is get this pitman arm pulled off there. Hopefully that comes off there with relative ease. Those can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Need to strip our hydraulic fittings out of there, and we're gonna go shopping. Come on. Oh, we are getting lucky today, folks. We don't need to listen to you right now, air compressor. One thing I didn't show you guys is I did bend in little tabs, lock that thing in there, but somebody's got that thing anti-seized up real nice. Next question is that gonna come off there? I'll have to get the old puller out for that one. One thing to take note of real quick on these before you guys go yank them off is these things are timed. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's an arrow right there. That pitman arm has got 2 dots on it right there. So we got to make sure that that stays all lined up. If we were putting it back together on this one, the new gearbox should have that same mark on there. So we'll just get everything lined up and go there. All right, let's just see if we can get this thing peeled off here. Well, bummer, guys. You just missed all of the excitement. But good news, it's off. That's actually a little bit of a tapered shaft. They make a tool called a pitman arm puller. I don't have one. We improvised a little bit with a good old-fashioned gear puller. And Kapowie, she come flying off there. We got her, bud. A little bit of excitement. Definitely don't, DOT regulations, you're basically not allowed to weld, modify, or do anything to this. That's why I didn't want to put any heat to it. It seems to be in really good shape yet, so we don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. So, whammo, we got that out of there. Save it for the new one. And I don't know what else we need to take off here. I want to get this thing good and stripped down because they're going to be closed when I get there. But they're nice enough to set it outside for me. So I think last thing we're going to do, pull a couple fittings out of that thing. Road trip, hour and a half. In case you guys are wondering, yeah, it's not light. All right, a little unexpected road trip here at the end of the day. We are off to Evansville to Auto Wheel and Rim, kind of a local, regional to us, auto parts store for heavy trucks and equipment and stuff. Pretty good little company, been dealing with them for a lot of years, never had any complaints. And just so happens they got one in stock for what I think is a decent price. They're going to be closed when we get there, but they are nice enough to sit it in a hidden location so we can swap them out. We got to give them this one for the core and pick up the new one and head back home. So I'll see you guys in Evansville. Hour and a half later, folks, we have made it. Welcome to Auto Wheel and Rim, and I see a box that just might blown dust. Let's get this swapped out and head back to Derby. I feel like the smart thing to do before we drive an hour and a half back home is crack this box open and let's make sure, compare a few notes, make sure it looks like we got the right thing. Important instructions. Save those for later. Looks like we got all the same numbers. Top is, nope, top's the same. Ding, ding, ding. I think we got a winner. Let's head for home. See you guys at shop. Well, Mr. Millennial, you missed out on a fun road trip last night, buddy.
Saw a hair. The old puppy dog was leaking a little bit today.
Good news though, we have parts.
Good.
And the parts come with instructions.
Well, now I know exactly what you're gonna do with those.
And they're even in English. We may use these. So, all right, I say first things first, and we got to dress this thing out with a pitman arm and a few other things. But I think at the situation we're in, let's get that puppy mounted up there. and then we'll start putting all the stuff on her and see if she works.
It's kind of a necessity to have it for this evening, so
yeah,
we probably should just put the gearbox on it.
How come nothing ever breaks down at a convenient time?
Why would it do that?
Hey, you'd be proud of me though. Before I drove all the way back home, I did open the box
And make sure it's right.
and make sure they looked the same. And they were both black, so I'm thinking it has to work.
Here we go. You didn't even flip it over, did you?
It has to work.
Oh my God. What am I doing with you? Oh my gosh!
I thought it was like extremely heavy, but according to the box, it only weighs 88.2 pounds.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Well, that phone don't want to let go of it either.
Are you going full on committal? See right there's
Full on committal.
that's that plastic cap right there I was telling you about. See how it's just glued on?
I gotta rotate this thing 90, don't I?
All right, hold on. Let me get situated here and I'll help you. You want to use that fancy lifty device we got, or are you just going to use the big guns?
It's called power. Par power.
Par power. All right. Just for the record, I gave him the option. The camera. All right, I got the bolts. Oh, there we go. All right.
You just tell me if I need to lift.
Lift up just a little bit. Oh my goodness, I think that one actually started. All right, don't pull up out of there.
Did we get it?
I think we did.
Nice.
That went way easier than I thought it was going to. It's a lot easier with two people.
You're welcome.
You believe that? Alright, see them two little bitty dots right there?
Mm-hmm.
See that little bitty arrow right there?
Yep.
We gotta make sure the arrow and the dots.
Well, if there's one arrow and two dots, you got to be in between them. How's that work?
Well, the arrow points to the groove and the dots are in the groove, so
Okay.
look at that. First shot. Nailed
Give
it.
them an up close there.
You see it right there?
Yep. You can actually see it in the camera too.
Alright, so then that's a tapered fit. We'll kind of walk out on there back and forth. This is the fancy nut that holds it on. This tab here fits in there.
We both thought a hammer was flying at us, didn't we? So that kind of like a lock ring.
Yep.
Hey, don't drop it in the oil.
Yeah, that keeps that from backing out.
My golly.
Alright.
Do you have the Allen for that?
I do, it's over there on the vise, I think.
Got a little hurl on it.
Oh.
That was cool. Hey, you want to make sure the steering wheel's straight, or do you not care?
Well, I do, but right now I just want to make sure that don't turn while I tighten this down. I'll tell you what, let's do. Probably make more sense to go ahead and put that in there, because I don't want to turn this box any more than we need to with that oil in it.
Okay.
So
That'll hold it too, won't it? The bottom,
yeah,
the bottom end.
so if we get this here,
What can I do to help?
can't really see which way I need to go to line my hole up.
All right. You need to go towards the back of the truck and up. Up, up, up. Okay, now let it go back towards the front. You went a little too far. It ain't much. That should get it right there. Now that you put your arm in the way.
Alright, let me get down there with it. I can't see. Gotta become one with the truck.
We're gonna look through your expanded metal here at what you're doing. Make them feel like they're in jail.
Like I'm working in prison.
Oh,
It's close. Where's that hammer?
that hammer is, I don't know.
Need my tappy tappy.
What'd you do with your hammer?
It's
Oh,
right
there it
there.
is. Oh yeah, remember we both thought it was gonna hit us in the face.
Yes, it is.
You're all over it. There it goes.
Perfect. Somewhere down here, there's a bolt.
So that's just a clamp fit there.
Yep.
Bolt clamps on.
There's a groove in this.
Uh-huh.
So as long as this bolt's in there,
Can't go nowhere.
can't go nowhere, then it tightens it down. So it's the groove holds it in there, then the pressure of the clamp holds it in there. All right, so now we should be able to tighten that down without damaging that gearbox. Ooh. Get out of here.
How do you know when it's bottomed out?
Huh?
How do you know when it's bottomed out?
Whenever you smack it right there, this don't get loose no more. Yeah, it's getting less and less each time. I had to look in the book, but I think there's a press spec on that. It's a tapered shaft.
Right?
But the old hammer tappy 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 trick works too.
Tap and tight, tap and tight, tap and tight.
Oh, yeah, she's getting I feel like we're getting bombed out there. I
Yeah,
don't know
no
if I can hear
doubt.
that on camera. Got a crop duster flying over.
We both sure thought it was something different other than a crop duster at first.
Yeah, that's the biggest crop duster I've ever seen. There we go.
Ta-da!
All right, now we need to basically turn that till that tab lines up. Bend that over.
Let me give them a up close there, because you're in the. You guys can see the notch in the actual bolt, if you will, and he's bending over that metal tab that was on that ring that spun around it, which will hold it in place and never let it back out.
That's the plan.
Oh, that's reverse, ain't it? Oh, I put it in reverse. Dang, got it!
Fail! Yeah.
Yeah, you knew what I did, dude. You weren't gonna say a word.
No.
I would like to call you a choice word, but I heard that camera beep.
Oh man! All right, hold on now.
Yeah, get your wrench on there, would you?
I gotta get my wrench on the right place. Hit it one more time, just for good measure. One more time. Kind of important parts here. I don't want them to fall off.
Yeah.
All right, next thing we need to do is get this steering shaft back on there. That's irrelevant. That goes up here.
Just checking.
To get the steering shaft back on. If you guys remember, I took the old steering box off. I actually marked the shaft and the splines, but obviously this one's not marked. So the best thing I know to do is I tried my best to park the truck in here straight.
You may go turn the steering wheel
The
straight?
steering wheel was straight whenever I took it off. So why don't you turn the steering wheel straight and I'll slide it down on there.
Ready for me to turn?
Yeah. All right, I gotta pull this bolt out, but I feel pretty good about that. It looks pretty similar to where it was at on the last one. It's within a spline or two, I believe.
I was gonna say, if anything, it's a spline off.
It's fairly easy to adjust if we need to. Let's go ahead and put it on right there, and we'll see what happens. It's my fancy hammer.
I saw that. I don't think that's gonna work there, buddy.
I need a real persuader. Oh yeah, you get the real hammer and it just slides right in. Scared it. All right, let's tighten that down before we forget. Or if we should tighten that down, or yeah, let's tighten it down. I don't want to somehow accidentally forget it. I was gonna say leave it loose to make sure our steering wheel's straight, but we'll get in a hurry and take off down the road. I'm not gonna do that.
What size wrench did I just hand you?
You handed me a 5/8, and it's the same on both sides.
I was gonna say, once you switch me, I'll hold the wrench. You run the
This one's fine threads. We gotta be careful not to strip them out. Right?
Yep.
Making sure we're going the right way. I ain't making the same mistake as you.
I didn't push the button on you.
You got your wrench right way?
Oh, I just keep.
And bam. All right, I think the only thing we got left to do is get the hoses hooked up. All right, guys, forgot to hit the button there, but I promise you didn't miss anything too exciting. We got our hoses back on, everything hooked back up there. Reading down through the instructions, basically we need to jack this thing up off the ground, which Matt's already got done. Put a little bit of oil in it, working back and forth, try to get it bled out with a whole lot of pressure or resistance on it. The paperwork that comes with it, they suggest using ATF oil, but Mack recommends using 1540 engine oil, and that's what the pump on here is recommended to use. So that's what Matt's doing now, is getting a little bit of oil back in that. Look at that, they got a great big sticker on there. You see that right there? 1540 engine oil.
Such a good sticker, I don't even have to wipe it off to see it.
All right, bleed instructions on this one, based on a box we have with no bleeder on it, is basically jack the front end up, which we've done, fill the reservoir, which we've done. Then Matt is basically going to turn this thing back and forth gently from stop to stop. What that should do is that piston goes up and down in there, should fill that box full of fluid and force all the air over to the reservoir. So you're up. Yep. Good news, if you turn the steering wheel, the wheels turn. That's convenient.
That's quite nice. I gotta admit, when the tires are off the ground, it turns off the lever.
You don't need power steering if the wheels are off the ground, huh? I'm sure somebody's already commented this. We're about due for a steer tire. We got a month or two left, but we're getting there.
Yeah. My brain commented that as I walked in the shop.
That's this. See, you guys don't know is every video has a comment generator. That's the comment generator for this video. All right, let's check our fluid level, and then we'll start it up and see what happens.
That's great.
Yep. All right, double checked our fluid. Matt's gonna fire up the truck. We still got the front end jacked up. Just make sure everything's gonna work pretty good. Run it through its paces, and then we'll let it down and see what works. And we still gotta adjust the stops on it yet. So fire and hold. I don't see any leaks, that's a good thing. All right, Mr. Millennial, the last thing we got to do is the poppet valve adjustments. A lot of people forget these when installing these steering boxes. It's pretty important. You know what it is?
A poppet valve.
You know what the poppet valve does?
Nope.
All right, so you got it. I wish I had the old one so I can take it apart, but this shaft goes down through here and it's threaded. It's got a big piston around it, and you put fluid on top and bottom of the piston. As it pushes on those threads, that's what helps you turn. So there's a valve on the top and there's a valve on the bottom. It's basically a relief valve.
Okay.
So basically, if you turn it so far, that piston comes up so far. I'm simplifying this quite a bit, I promise. It stops putting pressure on the wheel, so you don't put a whole bunch of undue force into the steering system and the steering box, and you're not constantly jamming the axle stops into the axle. So we got to adjust those to make sure they correspond where the axle stops are set on the truck. There's one on the top, which is in this little hole right here, and there's one on the bottom, which is over there. So start engine, allow to operate at idle, put full weight of vehicle on the wheels, turn the steering wheel full right and then full left, then note the clearances and then adjust accordingly. Is basically what it comes down to. So let me get a screwdriver, because that's what it takes to adjust that, and we'll see what we got. We're gonna let Matt fire this thing up and turn it. Basically, I mean, it's hard for you guys to see. We're gonna check the distance between this stop and that right there and see where we're at. So I don't want to have my head down in here while he does that, so we're gonna let him turn it and then we'll get in here and check it. All right, fire her up and crank her the other way. Piece of paper down in there, so that's pretty good. I like it. So see, that one there's got a much bigger gap right there. So we can adjust that one to turn. We can adjust that one to turn a little bit sharper, but it is so close, I'm not gonna mess with it. I like it. So this way, I guess it'd be to the left in the driver's seat?
Yeah.
Perfect. It's perfect. To the right, the other way, it's like maybe 1/8 of an inch off.
Was it even worth messing with?
No, it's 1/8 inch off in the safe direction. I said we just leave well enough alone. Let's check fluid in this thing one last time. Double check, make sure we got everything tight. I think it's time for one of those good old-fashioned test drives.
Yeah, buddy.
Just a little bit low, not much.
We'll put some in it?
Yep, just a touch. Go in your home. We are perfectly on the cold mark. And last I checked, she is cold.
Where's my button? Nailed it!
I think it's on the floorboard of the truck that randomly talks to us.
I agree.
All right, let's
You check the oil, right?
Yep, check the oil, check the antifreeze, double check. Yeah, let me just double check. I got all of our bolts and safeties in.
Check brake fluid since the hood's up.
Brake fluid?
Well, yeah. You ready?
I've never checked brake fluid in this thing in my life. Is that a problem?
Are you ready for the hood?
Hold on.
Oh man.
Hold on.
I was all primed and ready.
Oh no. I'm running out of hands.
Here, let me take this one. How many wrenches did we leave in there?
I think I got them all. That's what I was looking for. I had the last.
Hold on. I think I got them all.
That one would have fell. That's just a Craftsman. It's not important. I had to laugh pretty good whenever I seen that on there.
Yeah, unplanned change.
You guys remember that video? That was a fun day. Not. All right.
I guess it.
Let's close her up, back her out, see what happens. It's either gonna work or not, right?
Oh, it's working and it's gonna keep working. Coming down. Hey, I think you forgot that too.
It's hard to complain about this old truck. It's been a good one. So far so good, don't see an oil trail. Everything feels fairly smooth on the steering, which is nice. The question mark is the steering wheel straight? All right. We got all kinds of random stuff sitting around here. Let's find out, let's hit the road. Everything looked good, dry, no leaks whatsoever. Check this out, heading down the highway. Steering wheel is absolutely perfectly straight. That's definitely nice and a bonus. So I believe that's going to be a wrap on this one. A couple things I want to hit on real quick. A lot of you guys ask me how come I do my own maintenance, don't hire it out, and a lot of different things. Guys, this is a prime example. This truck went down at 3:30 yesterday. It is now basically 8 o'clock the next day. We're back on the road. There's not a whole lot else we can be doing in the morning. So downtime, labor savings, it just, if I couldn't afford to do my own maintenance, I definitely couldn't afford to have as many machines as I do. I probably couldn't stay in business. The other thing is, if you guys ever mess with any steering boxes or replace them, it's really important, either if you're driving the truck or tell the person driving the truck, for the next month or so, just keep a real close eye on those components. Make sure that steering box don't start working loose in the frame. But more importantly, make sure that pitman arm up there stays tight. And just keep an eye on that stuff, because there were some pretty important parts that keep you going the right direction down the road. So with all that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. Want to make sure you don't miss out on what's coming up next, which is probably going to involve mud or rocks. I'd consider subscribing. That way we can catch you guys on the next one. Later.